Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Diego Dario. And in tonight's Game Plan, Coach Willie Wilson returns to give his latest wish list following Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
Well, he'll wish he can turn back time, but we'll go inside the game with Gilas youth members Caelum and Bayla as they share their journey to the national team. And we'll get an inside look into some of the UAAP's top volleyball stars courtesy of Season 84 correspondents Kaila and Martina. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. The Boston Celtics take care of their home court after winning Game 3 of the NBA Finals in the Garden. Now, in light of that, four-time UAAP champion Willie Wilsons, who predicted otherwise, joins us tonight to give his latest wish list for the Warriors and the Celtics. Welcome back, Coach Willie. I'm sorry, I had to mention that.
Coach Willie.
You did have to mention that. and I deserve it. And I deserve it. You don't win them all.
Yeah. It's really interesting, though, because obviously we talked about it schematically. It could have gone either way. And right now, though, the Boston Celtics proving a lot of Warriors fans wrong.
And I don't think a lot of people expected that.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, only a few people.
You're right.
Me,
right? So, just for the record,
okay,
he went the other way.
Okay,
so let's move on to Coach Willie's wish list. And we're going to start off with the first point. I think everyone wants this to be completely fair, especially after the scare a while ago. Coach Willie wishes for a healthy Steph Curry. Coach, obviously we don't want injuries, but explain why this in particular is so important.
All right, self-explanatory. He's the engine that that runs the Warriors. The Warriors lose him, the series is pretty much over. Okay, he was on pace if they win to get that elusive NBA Finals trophy. NBA Finals MVP trophy. So with him being gone for the series, or even for a game, I think that's doomed for the Warriors.
And just to add to that, I think Steve Kerr mentioned in one of the interviews that Steph Curry, they'll know more about what happened to him, I think by tomorrow. But he was able to play through it in that fourth quarter. So it's going to be exciting. But Coach, let's go to your next point. You have the Warriors. You want the Warriors to treat the first quarter as their third quarter because, as we mentioned before, they're one of the best third quarter teams.
Right. Historically, they have been dynamite in the third quarters, but through 3 games, 3 slow starts, the Celtics get off to a hot start, and it just turns out that in this third game, the Warriors again had a great third quarter. But it wasn't enough to get them over that, to push them over the hump. And the Celtics ultimately were able to withstand that third quarter run and get back. But I just feel like coming into game 4, Klay started off slow today, but then got it going. And I think moving forward, now that Klay has somewhat found his footing, we're going to see a different start to Game 4.
Yeah, just to emphasize what happened there exactly, that fourth quarter for Golden State, only 11 points.
Wow.
And just to give props to our good friend, Mr. Hot Takes Vito, he did say that he felt the Warriors were getting complacent, and based on the third and fourth quarter disparities, he may have a point, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, so we now move on to Draymond Green, who has been in the news for so many things apart from basketball, but also, you have a wish for him, and that wish is that you want him to stick with basketball and not wrestling.
All right, so when I speak about wrestling, it's not just about the physical part of wrestling. It's also about what happens, when you're cutting promos.
Yeah, the showmanship.
The showmanship.
Yeah.
He gets on his podcast, which I love. I love his podcast.
Yeah.
But then he's talking about we're going to do this to this player and that to that player.
Yeah.
And then, he gets to the press con and he's just doing this and doing that, it's great for basketball if you can back it up.
Yeah.
But what we saw in Game 3 from Draymond was a whole lot of nothing. You know?
Oh my goodness.
No, seriously, a whole lot of nothing. Game 2, he lifted the level of physicality, and we all love a physical series.
Yeah.
But when you're gonna do that, back it up with numbers. Don't just go out there and start, wrestling this guy, grabbing this guy.
Yeah.
It's got to contribute to more than just, technical fouls.
Yeah.
And just to add to that, he had 2 points. He fouled out two out of the 3 games he fouled out in the NBA Finals, and he played in more than 30 minutes. So I agree with Coach Willie that Draymond has to at least show up because Steph already stepped up, Klay Thompson stepped up, but we need more of Draymond Green.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, especially with Draymond Green. But to be completely frank, his last foul was defending Steph Curry, if you remember that. But still, you're right with what you're saying about his actual performance in the game. Now, another thing here, this time's a Boston take, and I don't know why you're wishing this because you predicted the other way, but then you want Boston to play their small ball lineup even more.
All right, so this goes against Boston still because, I mean, it's a fact. Everybody knows how I feel about Boston.
Yeah.
I abhor them. I dislike them.
As a Laker fan?
As a Laker fan.
Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of hate. It's a blood rivalry right there. And with the way that the Boston Celtics bullied the Warriors in Game 3 with that big lineup, and again, I went on the record and said that Boston will not be able to play their 2 big lineup. And for the large majority of the part, they've only went with either Horford on the court. They start off with Horford and Williams, but it's either Horford there or it's Williams there. It's rarely them 2 together. It's either they're with Grant Williams or they throw in Jaylen Brown at the 4. But, I mean, they're beating the Warriors up inside. I want them to go smaller, kind of make that adjustment. Once the Warriors start, getting going, getting in their rhythm, and then it'll just be that. That will mean that Boston is just conceding that, hey, we can't hang with these guys, and they're going to concede the series.
I think that's a great take because in Game 2, what happened there was the Golden State Warriors trying to attack Horford on the ball screen. He kept on dropping. Steph kept on shooting threes.
Right.
And because of this small lineup that Coach Willie was talking about, they were able to switch a lot of actions of the Golden State Warriors. So I think this will help Boston, but it might help Golden State also just because they might be able to adjust now that they saw that in Game 3.
All right, so with all that already said and done, let's give Coach Willie a second chance here because his first prediction cannot happen anymore. He said Warriors in 5. Chance here to change that now.
All right, so we have Game 4 coming up. I just can't. I just can't go Boston. I can't go Boston. I can't go Boston. That's as far as I go. I have my little fake accent, but I'm gonna go Warriors in 7.
Warriors in 7.
Just a quick one.
Warriors in 7.
What do they need to do to get these wins against Boston? I mean, just a quick one. Generally.
All right. So since Boston is being so disrespectful and throwing out their bigs, they need to find a way to get to the basket.
That makes sense. I agree.
The points in the paint, demolished, Celtics 50 plus, the Warriors 20 plus, doubled it. You got to find a way to get to the basket.
All right, so let's see whether or not that will happen because 2 proud franchises battle it out in the biggest stage of the season. Watch the Boston Celtics go head-to-head with the Golden State Warriors in the 2022 NBA Finals. Watch all games live on NBA TV Philippines, on Signal, and TV5. All right, Coach Willie, thank you very much for joining us. I'm really sorry that we hurt your feelings a lot here, but then when you have a wrong take, you gotta pay for it. All right, after the break, we'll go inside the game with Gilas youth members Caelum Harris and Jacob Bayla as they share their journey to the national team. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back to the game. Our Gilas youth are 4 days away from competing in the Under-16 FIBA Asian Championships. With the squad consisting of homegrown and internationally recruited talents, our very own Carlo Pamintuan sat down with Caelum Harris and Jacob Bayla to talk about their journey to the team.
I mean, who first reached out to you? What was the process that was followed?
So East West Private, who helped me get my Filipino passport, we were already in contact because they're kind of like guiding me with everything Filipino wise, and so they're like we want to schedule a meeting with you and Coach Chot, and I was like, and I said okay, and then from there Coach Chot was telling me how he wanted me to come and join the national team. So from there it was just figuring out what day and time to get over here.
Caelum, what was that like? Training alongside, PBA players who have, played at the World Cup, played at the highest level of basketball. What did you learn from all those veterans in the Southeast Asian Games team?
From all the veterans, I learned that the most important thing to be a good team and be a great team is communication. Because if you don't communicate with your teammates, everything will be bound to fail eventually. So I feel like the biggest thing we have to do as a team is communicate.
So any of the veterans particularly, tried to talk to you more, just tell you more about the international game or the Philippine brand of basketball?
I mean, all of them really told me about everything that I needed to do. They all came up to me individually. I think probably the one person I spent the most time with is Mo, because he kind of guided me, and he was just telling me certain aspects of the game that I'm gonna have to get used to and adjust to, which I kind of understand now looking at a big broad aspect of things, especially playing with the youth and playing with the men's.
All right, you're going up against Kuwait and Japan for the upcoming tournament. And we know that Japan has also produced a lot of really good players, including NBA stars. How excited are you to actually compete for the Philippines and wear that Philippine jersey for the first time?
I'm very excited. I know it's a big opportunity to represent a country, and especially a country that respects the game of basketball. So I'm more than happy and glad to face off against great opponents.
All right, Jacob, can you just tell us the story of how you became a part of this team? Were you recruited from the US? Did you fly in to the tryouts? Can you just tell us that story?
Yeah, so in 2020, a coach reached out to me. His name is Chris Gopez, and he's started an organization called Finland Nation Select, where they bring all types of players around from the US and put them into camps to showcase their skills. And he's helped me a lot. I got in contact with Coach Dean and Coach Josh and Coach Chot, and they had tryouts in Los Angeles. And I went there, and then 2 of us got picked.
How has it been bonding with your teammates? We all know that it's also important to develop, good relationships with them on and off the court.
Yeah, the teammates, I love them. We built a really close bond. I feel like our chemistry is better, especially the karaoke sessions with the team just helped us bond. And yeah, just talking to them, I understand a little bit Tagalog, so they make jokes and I start laughing. So yeah, just our chemistry, it's good, really good.
How about the tune-up games? How did your team perform? How would you gauge your personal performance in the few tune-up games that we've had?
The tune-up games helped us, like what Jared said, helped us more in-game scenarios instead of practices where we just run the plays. Yeah, we could just get to see a glimpse of what's going to happen in Qatar. So yeah, the games definitely helped us just mold into an actual team, not just practicing. Yeah, and then for individual, yeah, it helped me a lot. I learned that the Philippines is way more aggressive here, and like no blood, no foul. So it just helped me be more aggressive. and taught me a lot of things.
Jacob, before you were approached by Film Nation Select, did you ever think that there's a possibility of you playing for the Philippines? Or was it something that you were hoping to accomplish at some point, having roots from the Philippines?
Yeah, I always dreamed of playing for this team when I was a kid, but I never expected this to happen. I never expected me to go out to the Philippines, fly out, 16 years old, and I've never expected any of this, so I'm just thankful and blessed.
Can you share with us some of the names of the Gilas Pilipinas players that you watch or that you have seen before that inspired you to try and pursue this path of becoming a national team player?
Yeah, Dwight Ramos, he's a couple 30 minutes away from where I live. So just seeing him go and from Fullerton to here and then making a name for himself just really inspired me.
That was Carlo Pamintuan with Caelum Harris and Jacob Bayla. And after the break, UAAP Season 84 correspondents Kaila D and Martina join us to share courtside stories on some of the league's top stars. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game.
Watching The Game. Alongside Martina Lau, I'm Kaila D. It's officially the UAAP Volleyball's last game day for the second round in Season 84, with each team hungry to end the eliminations on a winning note. The UE Lady Warriors kicked off today by ending their dry spell after downing FPU in 4 sets, 25-22, 22-25, 25-21, and 25-21. Meanwhile, the Adamson Lady Falcons pull off the upset win over the Lady Spikers in 4 sets to keep their season alive.
In the most anticipated match of the day, National Youth stays unbeaten to complete the sweep and securing the step ladder after topping UST in straight sets. Happening now, Ateneo and the UP relive the Battle of Katipunan to cap off the final day in round 2 of the UAAP Season 84. Catch that live on One Sports and the UAAP Varsity Channel.
Alright!
They're so good,
Should we trade places now?
No, no,
okay.
no, no. We're all angry at you, but oh my God!
Look at them celebrating. They deserve it. They deserve it.
No. Iba talaga yung mga Lasalliano.
Okay, let's go
Sorry.
back to the topic. I mean, 3 Lasallians, 1 from UP, but let's go back to the UAAP.
Wait. Let's focus on what we're doing. Okay.
We're
Oh, can I keep my phone? No.
Okay. So, all right.
We are
All
officially
right.
done with the elimination round, right?
Yeah.
So, we are on to the exciting part. Now, let's start off with LaSalle. The Lady Spikers obviously disappointed in their loss against Adamson, but as they proceed to the next round, one of the main figures they'll lean on is Jolina De La Cruz. Kaila, can you tell us a little bit more about her journey?
You know, guys, for the first round, it was tough for Ate Jules because she received a lot of criticism and negativity. So she did share with me that one of the takeaways from that is to prove that she can bounce back better. And with her POG naman, syempre, she showed that she's able to do that. So, yun, her goal really for this whole second round is to improve and contribute where she can. She did say that volleyball is a team sport and she can contribute in little areas other than scoring.
Alam mo, when you talk about Jolina, we all know about yung journey niya throughout the ranks in LaSalle. And the maturity is evident if you follow her. How does that manifest? Yung maturity niya, yung leadership niya?
Okay, so one of the things the coaches always ask for her is to step up as a leader. So I think, when I asked her teammates, what do you see in Ate Jules that makes her Ate Jules?
Yeah.
They said it's because on court, she's the type of ate that lifts everyone up.
Yeah.
And recently, it's when that was shown because she was like, you know what? Kayo lang sa harap, ako sa likod, magre-receive ako. And that went viral. So it's really evident that she's showing her leadership skills.
Perfect. Now, let's move on to another school away from Taft naman. Punta naman tayo sa Espanya. And all season long, all the fans have been waiting for yung supporting players ni Ea Laure and yung supporting cast to find their groove. And honestly, what's been working for them right now?
The only thing that's really been working for them is, them trying to activate all of their attackers, distribute their attacks, because, most of the teams that go against UST is all after Ea most of the time because she's their main pointer. So it's very important that the other team players step up and, help Ea as well. And I think one notable player that worth mentioning right now is April Tapia. She may be a rookie, but then, she's also been one of the highest pointers lately, especially in the previous games. So I guess we can say she has been, stepping up for UST. And I think what Coach really does just want to see from the girls is the strong support system.
Yeah. And speaking of support, right? One of the players that have been stepping up for UST is Casey Galdones. Can you tell us a little bit more about her mindset going into the Final Four?
Yes, of course. So the previous game, the one before today, she did bag, player of the game, and it's such a big deal for her. Of course, she's very happy with it, but she did say na, syempre may pressure pa rin yun kasi may expectations na from the fans, from the coaching staff, from her teammates. But regardless of all of that, she still wants to stay consistent and do what she does best on the court. And I actually asked her nga, I was like, Casey, so may goal ka ba ever na to be player of the game? And she said, no, never ko naman yung naging goal. But if anything, yung goal ko coming into the season was to see my teammates and the whole team really just play as one.
So Casey obviously stepped up, but let's go back to LaSalle. Kaila, super rookie Aliyah Malaluan has been among the league's rising stars. How did her volleyball journey begin? Can you tell us more about that?
She was in volleyball for a long time. She started grade 2, and then grade 9 she moved to... She was in De La Salle Lipa first, then moved to De La Salle Zabel. And then De La Salle University. So she's kind of used to... Exactly. I agree. So she's used to transition. So her volleyball journey was all about that. Different coaches, different teammates. And she actually played with, like you mentioned, from UST, Ea Laure, people from there, Mafe Galanza. So she knows what it's like to make those adjustments.
Yeah. All right. So we're running out of time now, but we have enough to go to another school here. Talk about NU naman dito kasi NU cannot not talk about them, especially si Jen Yerba, especially when we talk about defense and all of that. What makes her special? What are her teammates? How confident are her teammates around her, knowing that she's there to really back them up?
Yeah, so I actually spoke with Toring and Belen, and both of them said the same thing, na Nerva's presence is really something else on the court. Her energy is super contagious. And sabi nga ni Belen, na usually kasi diba she leads the defense, and when they do attack, si Nerva, she always makes sure to shout, give that energy. And sabi nga nila na si Nerva talaga yung unang nagsisimula ng ingay sa loob ng court. And yeah, sabi din ni Toring na if may Pearl and Denura sila sa labas ng court na nagbibigay energy, si Jen naman yung nagbibigay energy sa loob ng court.
Perfect. Ladies, first of all, congratulations on the job that you're both doing. Kaila, alam ko hindi pa tapos yung season mo.
Yes.
You already know what I think about whether or not you're a lucky charm or not sa
You're
basketball
always bullying me.
sa basketball
What is the
natin.
answer? Is she a lucky charm
Let's not talk
Bawi,
about that
bawi.
anymore.
Okay.
What's past is past, my UP friend. Ladies, again, congratulations
Thank
on the
you.
work that you're doing, Kaila. We can't wait to hear more from you very soon. And yeah, I think that wraps us up here, Jegs.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you guys for joining us. I'm Diego Dario.
And I'm Paulo de Rosario. This has been The Game.